3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to the Lightforged Arena tier list valuation podcast slash stream slash mod that we do for every expansion, and this is Descent of Dragons.
Dragons, yes. All right, we're talking about Druid because it is alphabetical. We're going through the classes right now, and that's basically it. I have nothing more to say. I am going to let you take the lead on Druid because
You're just
it's a little bit
saving all your
juicy.
points for Hunter.
I'm saving all my points for Hunter, but also it's the first card that we're going to talk about, the highest rated card in Druid. It's one that I still don't really get,
Okay,
but
okay. I will
I just
explain.
dropped it.
I will
Explain it.
enlighten
Please
us about
explain
the
it.
number one
Go.
card in Druid. Okay.
Go.
Before we do that, I just want to let everybody know that this is not necessarily a weird or random order this time that we're doing alphabetical, because the first four classes do not have Garricon cards. The last five classes do alphabetically. So the last five classes, each of them are going to have like 3 cards not in the arena. So it's going to be quicker reviews, but it's also going to have other effects to the offering rates, and we'll get to it at that point. But there's actually a distinction. So let's start with the 4 classes that have the most cards in this expansion. Druid has its number 1 card rated a 176. To give you an idea of what 176 is, it's 10 points better than a Twin Tyrant. It's 20 points better than an Ultimate Infestation. I'm going to repeat that. I'm going to repeat that because people aren't going to believe me. Ultimate Infestation is only a 157. Back in the day, it was insanely good. But now, there are so many ridiculous ways to get card advantage anymore. At this point, that Ultimate Infestation is no longer, like, its value is just, like, sinking. Because it's not as ridiculous as it used to be. And its effect...
If you have other premium ways to draw cards...
Without sacrificing much tempo.
Without sacrificing much tempo, which is kind of just exactly what Descent of Dragons does, it obviously hurts another card that does it much later on, right? It just sort of makes sense. Now, it's still really good. Like,
Yeah, 157 is better than Swipe.
Yeah. Anything above 150, Adulta's rule is it probably shouldn't exist.
Yeah.
That's his kind of rule. So Ultimate Infestation still probably shouldn't exist.
But it's getting closer to being okay to exist and balanced, in my opinion.
Because of other cards that shouldn't
exist and are imbalanced. Like, if you put enough, if you power creep enough, then previously ridiculous cards are no longer ridiculous, right? It's all relative. So this is not a good thing that Ultimate Infestation is now almost okay. Anyway,
so
20 points better than Ultimate Infestation.
So tell us what card is at the very top at 176.
It is Embiggen. It is an epic spell for 0 mana. 0 mana. You will always play it the turn you get it. You will always keep it in your hand if you get offered to it on the mulligan. It is Ultimate it is Embiggen. I almost said Ultimate Infestation. Just in my mind, Ultimate Infestation is the best Druid card. So it is Embiggen. Okay, what is Embiggen? For those who are listening and not watching, it is a 0 mana card that says, give all minions in your deck +2/+2. They cost 1 mana more, up to 10 mana. It will never go over 10 mana. So what this means is, for 1 extra mana, you get +2/+2's worth of stats. Only if it's a minion. Now, you may think, it's not that good. Because 1 mana normally gets you +1/+1 stats at least. Right? Like, a little bit more than +1/+1 stats.
And you use a card.
Yeah.
For this.
So, this only affects minions. It only affects minions you draw, so it only starts working after you play this card. And you've used up a card, so you're down 1 card. Now, the reason it is rated this freaking high is because of the ridiculous tempo. So, you're getting basically a free +1/+1 almost for every minion you draw from this point on whenever you happen to play that minion. That tempo adds up. That's every single minion. And if you're thinking about the cost because it costs no mana. It costs no mana, so there's no tempo cost to it. The only cost is card advantage. You get the card advantage back in something like 2 or 3 minions after you draw them. So
yeah,
you get tempo immediately as soon as you draw a minion that you can play, right? That has a mana cost that's not more than the mana crystals you have. You've already gotten your tempo back, and you get your card advantage back as soon as you draw like 3 minions or somewhere between 2 and 3 minions, depending on the size of your deck. So you're back at like even very, 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 very quickly. This is not like one of those cards that we've seen before where you have to spend 2 mana and then you get a benefit for later on. You spend 0 mana, and the benefit you get later on is tempo in addition to card advantage. So you're just covered. There's no downside to this unless you have weird curve issues where you're just like not curving out well enough and you don't want to play it on turn 1, but you'd still play it as soon as you're out of your curve issues.
So here's the thing. And I see this example right now in chat, and I think it's a great example because some people might look at this and be like, wait, it can't possibly be that good. I think universally people recognize that Prince Kaliseth is a good card, especially when it procs, right? Well, you don't need that condition to proc it. And that condition, it's a heavy condition. You can't have any other 2 mana.
It's also a 2 mana 2/2.
It's also 2 mana 2/2, so it's not even that good. It's not even that great. Like, you're not getting something really worth getting. So you don't need the condition, and you kind of just get the Kaliseth effect, and that's why it's this high. Now, my sort of gripe about it is it's not like I don't think it's a bad card. It's really just like, is it a 170 or is it like, a 140 or a 130-ish, right?
It's game changing. It's flat out game changing if you get it in your first like 7 cards.
Yeah. So hopefully no one out there is like, whoa, wait, this is like just not good. If you think it's not good, then you're wrong. It's good. It's just a matter of how good do you think it is, right? Is it better than Ultimate Infestation good, or is it just really, really good? So that is, I believe, the only wiggle room that there is. And it's hard for me to see, although, like, the more you think about it, the more it definitely makes sense. So, yeah.
Just remember, you don't lose any tempo, and you gain your card advantage back within 3 minions.
Yeah.
So unless you think the game is not gonna, last for that long, but you still care about card advantage, right? Because usually if the game doesn't last that long, you don't care about card advantage. So it has to be a weird situation where the game won't last until you draw 3 minions, but you still really care about card advantage. Or it's a curve issue. And if it's a curve issue, that's your fault. You could just play it later.
Yep.
Okay. So that's Embiggen. It's epic. You're not going to see it that often. There's no spell bonus anymore. It's just a class card bonus. So it's not going to like ruin too many games, but I mean, you're just going to end up facing druids with this, and you're just going to put your arms up and be like, I don't know what to do with this. And there's nothing you can do. There's no counterplay. It's like very solitary. It's not a well-designed card at all. It's not fun to play against. It's probably not fun to play as. It's just, I don't know. I don't know why they put the card out, but it's really, really good, and you should use it and draft it if you can. You should also not be afraid to draft multiple copies of it, in case people are wondering, because you just like play it.
Don't draft 8 of these.
Okay, if you're offered 8 of these, yes, do not draft 8 of these.
You won't get the opportunity to draft 8 of these as well, but yeah, don't draft like 8 of these. But 7 is totally fine. Like, 7. Oh, that's a sweet spot, obviously. Okay.
Next up is the card people probably thought was going to be the best card, and it was 2 points away, so they're basically the same. It's a 174. It's better than a Twin Tyrant. It is a Emerald Explorer, which is a 6 mana 4/8, which means it's pretty much on curve for a 6 mana card that is a dragon and has taunt, so it's definitely on curve for a 6 mana card. And then you get a free battle cry that says Discover a Dragon.
Yeah, I mean, just look at it. That's it. Just look at it. It's just good for the stats are good for what you're paying for it, and you get to get another dragon. It's just really good, man. It's not hard to use. Look at it and appreciate how good it is. Next card.
There's 3 more of these in different classes. The Explorer series of cards that are basically like regularly normal cards with a free Discover a Dragon attached to it. As if Discover a Dragon itself wouldn't be worth like a 1 mana card by itself, which would mean it should be worth like 2 mana. Alright. Next up, so we're down. Oh, and that Emerald Explorer is common, by the way. Just FYI. Okay. Next up, we have a 130 card. This is where Evil Heckler is, Serenite Chain Gang, Amani Warbear. It is a Shrubadier. 2 mana 1/1. Battlecry, summon a 2/2 Treant. So it is a 2/2 and a 1/1 for 2 mana. This follows similar stat type stuff from other stuff, like Silverhand. What do you call that guy? Why am I blanking on this guy? The 5 mana 4/4/2/2?
Silverhand Knight.
Knight. That's who he is. He's a knight. It's like the Silverhand Knight. It's like, I don't know. There's a 4 mana card that's like a 3/3 with a 2/2. It's just normal statting for a good card.
All right, cool. What's the next one?
Yeah, and it's a Treant, and there's some Treant synergies in this set.
Yeah.
Next is Secure the Deck, our first side quest. So a new mechanic is introduced in Descent of Dragons. It is called side quests. They work like normal quests, except they don't start in your hand at the beginning of the game. And they are of a much smaller effect. So this one's 1 mana. And the side quest is attack twice with your hero. So like hero power and attack twice, or use a card that allows you to attack. So if you do it twice at any point after you play the quest, including on the turn that you play this quest, you get a reward. And the reward is adding 3 claw spells to your hand. Claw is your normal 1 mana spell that gives you +2 attack and +2 armor.
Yeah. So you guys will see this theme. Side quests are, on average, not great. This is a good one, though. Because, first of all, you don't need anything. The only thing that you need to complete the side quest you already have, and that's just your hero power. So it's a cheap side quest. It's not that hard to complete it, and the reward is pretty good. Like, very flexible. Triple claw spells, that's extraordinarily flexible and gives you a good amount of removal. So this is, if you compare it to other side quests, this is among the best ones.
It's also great reach.
Yeah, definitely.
Over the course of 3 turns, you will have 9 damage to their face. That's
pretty good.
Yep. So it's a 119. That's pretty good. It's like where Druid of the Saber is, and where your Dragon Ball Poacher is, Ironhorn Direhide. Like, it's a good card. It's not premium, definitely. But it's there. Okay, next up, Tree Enforcements. 1 mana spell. Choose 1. Give a minion +2 health and taunt. Or summon a 2/2 Treant.
It's just solid. Like, these small choose 1 kind of spells, just really, really good.
Yep.
This is the definition of flexibility.
Yep. Love it. Love the design. Also cool brings more 1 mana 2/2s into the game, which I really appreciate.
Yep. All right.
Next, we have Breath of Dreams, also known as the only dragon synergy that is not absolutely bonkers. It's a 2 mana card. You draw a card. That's not very good. But if you're holding a dragon, you also gain an empty mana crystal. So if you are holding a dragon, then on turn 2, you can Wild Growth before the nerf. Oh my
gosh.
And draw another card. You can get both parts of Wild Growth.
Yeah. The thing is, you're just not going to hit it that often.
Yeah.
You're just not going to hit it that often, especially on turn 2. And then if you hit it later on, well, then it doesn't matter that much, right? So that's really the problem with it.
Yeah. And even if you hit it, like, you guys remember how good Wild Growth was in the arena, right?
Not that great.
It was okay.
So look, if you hit Wild Growth on turn 2 and you get to draw a card, obviously really, really good.
But still not like not super good. Not like Ultimate Infestation or Swipe good. More like, I don't know, like Argent Horse Rider good.
Yeah.
Flame Juggler good.
And that's what's keeping like this card from being in the depths, right? Like just really, really bad. So it's fine. It's fine where it is.
All right.
On to the next one.
Next, we have Aeroponics. Aeroponics is a 5-mana spell. This is 79. We're going way down. This is Ravenhold Assassin and Demolisher land. 79. You do not want these cards in your deck. So it's a 5-mana card, and it says draw 2 cards. That's an Arcane Intellect for 5 mana. Now, it costs 2 less for each Treant you control. There are some Treants being added, as you saw from the earlier cards. Tree Enforcements is a Treant. Shrubadier is a Treant. But you're really not going to control a lot of Treants. And
yeah,
and this card is just a very, very expensive way to get card advantage.
This is an easy one. Like we calculated it. This is exactly sort of where the score is.
Okay,
that's basically it. Okay,
finally,
yeah.
We have the last side quest in Druid. Druid has 2 side quests. It is Strength in Numbers. This is at 71. It is Magma Rager level, Dalaran Mage level. Side quest, spend 10 mana on minions. Reward, summon a minion from your deck. So
this sucks.
Summon a random minion from your deck is super freaking random. A lot of minions have battle cries that won't translate. And it's going to take you like 3 turns to spend that much mana on minions, probably, unless you have it planned out. It will at most take you, at quickest, take you 2 turns later on in the game. So later on in the game, you could spend 1 mana and get like a delayed, I don't know, on average 4/4 or 5/5. That's okay. Early on in the game, you can spend 1 mana and then get a 4/4 or 5/5 like 4 turns later. That's okay. And then you risk a whole crap ton of RNG on top of it.
We've already talked more about this than we need to. All right. Should we talk about the Legendaries?
Yes. Let's talk about the Legendaries. So, Legendaries, you get 2 Legendaries. First one is Goru the Might Tree. Goru the Might Tree is 7 mana, 5/10 taunt, like a Ancient of War. But it has a battle cry. For the rest of the game, your Treants have +1/+1.
Yeah. It's a 130, which is pretty high, but Ancient of War is pretty good. And it's like you don't get the option to to uproot it, but you basically never uproot it.
Ancient of War is 131. So the ability to uproot it is worth more than the passive synergy to Treants, because you're not going to have a lot of Treants.
Which I think is fair, right?
Yeah.
So that's basically it. It's around where Ancient of War is, but sometimes you might uproot. You know, that opportunity is worth more.
I keep telling people, I'm like, I uproot like 1/4 to 1/5 of the time.
Yeah, I uproot like, somewhat. But especially now, there are ways that you definitely get punished with 5 damage.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about those in neutrals, and man, it will feel really bad when you uproot it, and then they use their 5/3 Divine Shield on it to kill your guy off. Feels bad, man. All right, so that's Goru with the Might Tree. Good and legendary. Now we get to a not so good one, which is Ysera Unleashed. 9 mana for a 4/12 dragon. Battle cry, shuffle 3 dream portals into your deck. When drawn, summon a random dragon. Slow. Real slow. This isn't even like the normal Ysera, which is a 98, and that's penalized because it's slow. Also the RNG of the dream cards. But at least with normal Ysera, you get a dream card right away, and that's positive tempo in the next turn, no matter what you get. Here, it just really sucks. You're just playing a worse Sleepy Dragon. Think about that, guys. It's a worse Sleepy Dragon, and there's no guarantee that you ever get anything good. And even when you draw the portal, it's random. So
yes, and it is shuffle 7 dream portals, not 3, 7 dream portals.
Oh, did I say 3? Sorry.
Yeah.
I was.
But yeah, the algorithm is calculating as 7.
Yep.
Not 3. And it's that bad. Like dragons are bigger than normal, but they're not like that much bigger than normal. And it's just very delayed tempo.
Yep. All right, guys. So that is Druid. I don't know if there's much to say about it.
I also don't think you said the score. The score is 72.
Yes.
It is very bad.
Sucks. That is Undertaker bad.
Yes. It is very, very bad. And if you're trying to compare it to other things, like even the comparison to Ysera, I think is a weird comparison because Ysera has Ysera Unleash. Like Ysera has like initiative. This guy does not have initiative, even RNG initiative, right? Like how many dragons have initiative that's not a battle cry? Like you need what, like a rush dragon or something? Like they don't exist.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right, that is it for Druids. Do you have anything to say about how good you think Druids are going to be?
I like that there's a lot of flexibility and normal stuff in Druid. Obviously, the power level is not great. Emerald Explorer aside, and that's like the most boring, freaking amazing card you can possibly make. In Biggin's Epic, you're just not going to see it that often. And then there's a big gap after that, right? You have your 170s, which those are, and then you get to Shrubadier, which is 130, and that's like barely a premium card, not even a premium card. So overall, I'm not too excited about the power level of Druid, but I think I'll have fun playing Druid because it's all very, very normal, and I generally like very normal mid-range stuff. That being said, you want to be polarized in this meta, right? We talked about polarization. You want to have a lot of card draw or a lot of like speed. And as Druid, you're just not gonna get there. Like if you get Embiggen or Ultimate Infestation, you can have the card advantage route. But if you don't, you're not gonna get like a tempo route. You're gonna be mid range. So for the most part, you're just making these mid range decks that are like okay.
That's the problem I see with Druids. And the question, the big question for every single class, if you guys want to think about it, is how is the bridge to the mid game and the early late game such that you can be the person dictating the Faceless Corruptors and the Twin Tyrants? That is really what you want to look at. So if a class has really good control cards, but they're super late game, that doesn't matter as much if the person that you're facing has the good early game and then they get the Faceless Corruptor value, they get the Twin Tyrant value, they get the good trade with their Evasive Worm. Because these neutral cards are a lot of the times better than the class cards that you are getting. So this is what you have to worry about. Is the early game strong enough? Is the bridge good enough? And with Druids, I just don't really see that. I'm not saying it's going to be bad. They have some ways, but as you see, some other classes have better ways to get there. So it should be fine. I don't think Druid is going to like completely suck. And Druid has always been better in the hands of more capable players, right? So I think it's going to be okay-ish.
Yep, I totally agree. And that's it for Druid. We already spent a lot of time on it. No need to spend more time. We'll see you in the next episode on Hunter, which I know Merps has a lot to say. But really, Hunter is one of the most exciting classes coming into Descent of Dragons.
It definitely is. I'd like to thank our Patreons, 4P Antimatter, Brand New, Cheng Yin, Joshua C, Eric L, and RV Night Train. Thank you guys so much. See you in the next video where we do Hunters. Bye, guys.
Bye.